So usually I would have told you a story by now, and today I'm doing things a little bit different. I'm doing something I wouldn't usually do, and I want to say thank you for Creative Distance Fest for letting me do this on their platform. I'm going to be reading the story instead of telling you a story today, and I hope that it is something that maybe means something to you or helps with answering some questions that you might have as well, because I think that we've all got a lot of feelings and a lot of questions that we want to ask, and this is how I responding to a lot of the things that have happened recently. And have you ever felt different to other people? Maybe you felt like an outcast in a group of friends or at school or even at work for the grown-ups who are watching. Maybe you've had different interests, or maybe you believe in something different than the people around you, or you have different abilities, or maybe you look different. Have you ever felt someone use the fact that you're different against you? It's not fair that anyone should be treated unfairly because of the way they are. Instead of reciting a folk tale or telling you one of my own stories today, I am going to read you a book that was and still is very important to me, and that is Tusk by David Mckee. So I am going to start. I hope you enjoy it. So this is Tusk. Once, all the elephants in the world were black or white. They loved all creatures. But they hated each other. Oh dear, not very happy faces. And kept to his own side of the jungle. And you can see the jungle there. And they're keeping to their own sides. One day, the black elephants decided to kill all the white elephants, and the white elephants decided to kill all of the black. The peace-loving elephants from the jungle, from each side, went to live deep in the darkest jungle. They were never seen again. And the battle began. It went on and on and on. Till all of the elephants were dead. For years, no elephants were seen in the jungle. Then one day, the grandchildren of the peace-loving elephants came out of the jungle. They were grey. There they are, coming out of the jungle. Since then, elephants have lived in peace. There they are, looking all happy. But recently, the little ears and the big ears have been giving each other strange looks. And that is where the story ends. There's a blank page. And that is the end of his story. Now, when I was at nursery school, I was called a very bad word by somebody, and I didn't know what it meant, but I learnt very quickly that it was an awful thing to be called, and that it was because I was a little bit different. I knew that I was like the grey elephants, and that my parents were probably like the peace-loving elephants that went into the jungle. Sadly, I also knew that the elephants that hated each other still existed. And it's funny because at the end of that story, even the grey elephants were suspicious of each other for being a little bit different in some way. Now, it might seem like that story had a sad ending, but we can change that. And the way we can end Tusk in a happier way is like this. When you see someone who's being picked on for being different, stand up to them. It might be scary, but you don't have to do it alone. You can tell someone what you saw. You can ask questions if something doesn't feel right. And you can also talk to the person that was being picked on. Ask them about themselves, and you might find out that actually they're not so different after all, or that the thing that makes them different is actually what makes them so great. You might even learn something new. The world, things at the moment, they seem pretty scary and a little bit strange, and I want to tell you that it's okay to feel sad or angry or scared. It's okay to feel however you're feeling right now, and it's all right to tell someone you trust that you're feeling that way and ask them questions. If you'd like to, you could always draw or write how you're feeling if you can't think of how to say it out loud in a conversation. And if you like, you could write or draw a picture to show how you would like Tusk to end. What are the elephants doing? How can we make them happy? And grown-ups, Tusk was written in 1964. Maybe we've come a long way since then, but the message is still relevant. The book suggests that we're stuck in this cycle of discrimination, but it doesn't have to be that way. We can change that through love and education and standing up for what is right. The events over the last 6 months just alone has shown us that above anything, all we need to do is care for one another and our planet and start asking ourselves some really big questions. How do we want our story to end? What are we doing? And how can we make everyone, and not just ourselves, happy? Thank you for listening to my story. I know it was a little bit different, and maybe it didn't make you feel as happy and as excited as my stories usually do, but I felt that it was a really important story to tell. I will be back next week, and I will be coming back with my folk stories and everything as well. If this story has made you ask some questions, then have a chat about it, and if you want to comment and ask me questions too, then I'm open to do that as well. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a really lovely week, and please stay safe. Thanks.